Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are into springtime here. I've got Light City up behind me on the YouTube thing. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the sun coming up and long days and crab cake tours and beers. This is a guy that is going to be early on in the tour. He's promised me a new shirt because the other one was too big, so I didn't want to wear it because it's too big, and I'm getting skinnier since my wife went away. But I do have my investments here from a Raskin. I don't know if I can get that. There you go. I got the
There we
Raskin
go.
investments up. And I do have a little lip balm here. Leonard Raskin joins us. Man, we went at it last week on, all sorts of things, spring and COVID and vaccines and America and all that good stuff. What do we got this week, man? Have you been watching baseball at the very least?
I have, and it was nice to see the O's win a little league game. I'm kind of perplexed. I thought the special COVID protocol MLB was last year, but sure enough, I didn't realize it came back this year. And I was tuning in the other night, saw extra innings, and I flipped the game off because I'm between the O's and the Caps. I'm back and forth with my thumb. My thumb's getting a good workout.
Why don't
And
you put them both on, like picture in picture? We had that
yeah,
back in the
no,
80s.
I
Why doesn't
know.
anyone do that anymore? Why don't people
Because it's
watch two things at
distracting.
once?
It's distracting.
We
I'm going
can't
back
watch a
and forth.
hockey game and something else. You're right.
No. So I'm watching the Caps and I'm watching the O's. I flip it back on. It's 10th inning, and there's a man on second, and I'm going, "How? They got a double already?" And then I'm listening. I'm like, "Oh my God, they're starting this 10th
Then you
inning with a
realize it's
man
the
on
guy that
second."
made the last out that they put
Right,
on second. Yeah.
right. This total loser strategy. I don't know who came up with this bad rule. Then I'm watching. They have a rain out. So okay, now we're going to play a doubleheader. I'm thinking, okay, day night doubleheader, and now we lost in extra innings in the eighth. Like
Right.
how do you
With a guy
lose
on
an
second.
extra? How do you lose in extra innings in the eighth? I don't get it. So I did tune into the nightcap and realized they were playing 2 7 inning games. I said to my wife, I said, "Honey, look, it's little league." She said, "What are you talking about? That's the Orioles."
Well, the
I
weird
said,
part
"What?"
for me was the strategy. I was watching it, right? I mean, I put it on. It's the middle of the afternoon. It's Tuesday.
Right,
I actually thought about going up there for some strange reason, but then I was like, I'm not giving them $15, and the game's on here, and I want to hear this
right.
kid call the games. He's a bit of a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. But either way, neither's the baseball, neither's the pitching. Neither's the owner. We can go through all of that. But this is specific. It's the fifth
This is
inning,
the
it's the sixth
league.
inning, and I'm thinking, it's a seventh inning game. How are you thinking about this with the lineup or through or whatever? And I thought about this when it rained on Monday night. When it rained on Monday night, I follow all the usual Brett Hollander suspects and whatever on Twitter.
Right,
And
right.
Luke's doing it too. Luke's at the ballpark, and we're tweeting out 2 7 inning games tomorrow. And I'm like,
They rained out a 9 inning game. They were supposed to play the next day a 9 inning game, but yet now they're going to make it up as 2 7 inning games. It was very weird to me. It just doesn't make
dude, don't they
sense.
employ major league pitchers? Don't isn't this what they go down to the Dominican, to where my people are from in Venezuela? They try to find kids that can pitch, and then they take
But
two
what's
innings of
with these?
baseball away from 2 games. When Seattle
Because of
flew
these
across the country,
precious
they
arms.
put them up over here at the Four Seasons. You know what I'm saying? They have per diem. They're getting paid to be. Well, what's wrong with the eighth and ninth inning?
I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm perplexed, man. It doesn't make any sense to me at
Who's
all.
running the joint? Who's
The
running this joint? I want to
the
talk to
joint
the
is being
manager.
run by, isn't it? Is it Manfred?
Rob Manfred, yes.
Yeah, he's a mess.
I
I
got a
mean,
Rob Manfred story. You want one?
sure.
Okay. I have met Rob Manfred once. Okay. So this is, I'm sure, and that was the summer of 14. Okay. Summer of 14.
Going back a bit, yeah.
My wife got cancer in March. She had her transplant in June. And if I Google the date, I'll find the date. I know I'm right about this because I'm Mary Lou Henner about this, okay? Sometime in July into August, my wife was feeling great after her transplant for a little bit, and then it went off the deep edge. It was a little bit of everything, right? But she was bald and frail, but wanted to go out. It was summertime. She couldn't eat much. And they were anointing the new commissioner, right?
Yeah.
Well, other way, here
There you go.
at the Hyatt.
Right.
Okay. So I said to my wife, all the baseball writers I know, like all of these people are in the lobby next door.
Yep.
Do you want to walk over? And I don't even remember if she had a mask on. I don't think she did at the time. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. It's all blurry, but this is not blurry. Went over to the second floor, and right there in the atrium, and I know you and I have been there together, I'm sure, right? I've
Yeah.
been to,
Yeah.
when Ehrlich won the election and I went to the headquarters, it was there. So, I mean,
Yep.
I've been to events, I've been to all sorts of things there. And all the writers are milling about, and the way it was like an owners meeting to anoint the commissioner.
Yeah.
And there was a small faction that wanted one of the other, it wasn't Stan Kasten, but it was somebody else. It was one of the baseball, guru guys
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
were trying to get in, but Manfred was the favorite, and there was all this deliberating going on. And this is the last time I saw Peter Angelos. He ran from me and my wife. He recognized me because I had Peter Schmuck with me. I had a Baltimore Sun reporter,
Right.
but all the
Right.
reporters were there, and they were voting on Rob Manfred. And I was in the little gift shop at the top. You know what I'm talking about? You get a little coffee.
Yep.
There's a little
Yep.
kiosk, right? And I was in there, and I talked to Rob Manfred for 2 minutes. I said hello, introduced myself. Oh, Aparicio. Oh, you related? And so that I got that number, and so that's my Rob.
No, it's just like Smith. No, we're not related.
But here's the amazing part. All right. So Rob Manfred, whatever money he makes, this is where I'll bring your Raskin Global, your money into this, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of dough he was making at the time, right? He was number 2. So I guess he was probably making a buck or two, right? I mean, he was making
Doing
$1 million.
well.
But
well,
Bud
yeah.
Selig was getting what famously 30 million, right?
Yeah, ton.
Right? Like Bud Selig was a $30 million a year job, right?
Right.
So here's Rob Manfred in the gift shop getting Raskin Global Tic Tacs. Like literally, he was getting like a coffee or mints or gum or a biscuit or some bagel. I don't know what he's getting. And he's in there and he's pacing back and forth, and everybody's looking at him, right? I mean, it's all the reporters are in there with their laptops setting up shop, right?
Yep. Yep.
And he's in there. He's got his suit. He's all undone. They're voting on him in the other room. We're all sequestered. So he's like nervous as like a burglar, right? Because he's about to either get a $30 million a year job
or not,
or he might be looking for that assistant to the NHL. Whatever they do. That's what Bettman did. Bettman popped out of the NBA. So, I met him under harsh conditions, and then the Peter Angelo story, and then my wife recovered, and I did baseball tour the next summer. Remember that? I did 30 ballparks all day. So, my love of baseball and what baseball represents. And now this guy gets the gig over at the Hyatt, right? Or the Hyatt. I keep doing it the wrong way. The Hyatt. He gets the gig. And now you're here. Well, 6 years later, my wife's alive. We're good. Peter, not so good. Orioles, not so good. But we're watching 7-inning baseball games in doubleheaders now. We're watching guys on second base, stuff that we would have thrown out in Colgate on playing pitcher's handout.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Back in the day.
Terrible. It's terrible. I just don't understand. These are professional athletes being paid to play the game, and the game is totally different for some reason. And we're now doing 7-inning doubleheaders, and we lose in the 8th.
But this is decision-making of leadership, right? Like, this is what you do with money and investments is you're betting on strategy and what's going to work and what's not going to work. I mean, I'm honest to God, Leonard, I'm 10 days into this, and it's not because they're a game under 500 or a game over or they swept or got swept or any of that.
Right.
I'm not being mean. What the hell are they trying to do? I mean, I don't. What are they trying to do?
Who's watching? I turned it on. Because the Caps game was over.
How are the Caps doing? Give me a Caps reporter. I don't watch hockey anymore.
First place.
Yeah, I know. Ovechkin's having
having a killer,
right?
Crazy year. He's I don't know if it's 3 or 4. He's just a few goals away from number 5 all-time history of hockey, all time. And you know what goes on in the Caps quietly, very quietly? Thursday night this week, Nick Backstrom will play in his 1000th game. And that dude is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and people just don't realize how good he is.
He's Scottie Pippen. He's the
Yeah,
he's the underappreciated other
right,
part.
right. He is
Yeah.
a phenomenal hockey player, and they made a couple big trades at the deadline. Got rid of a couple guys, got a stud in this Mantha kid who came over from Detroit. I mean, this kid, what a great deal. Not a kid, but to me, he's a kid. But this guy went from the last place Red Wings to the first place Caps, and they're looking good for the stretch run. And what's really most astonishing, I think, about the Caps this season is everybody thought they were going to have this Samsonov was going to be the primary goalie, and Henrik Lundqvist, ex of the Rangers, was going to be his backup and mentor. Then before the year starts, Lundqvist comes, they diagnose him with a heart issue and he has to have heart surgery. He's out for the year. And then Samsonov goes off and gets COVID and misses almost the first month. And they got this kid, Vitek Vanacek from Hershey, they bring up. The kid is studding out. He's got the most wins in the league as a rookie. He's got 17 wins on the season. Samsonov's got 11. They're fighting for time on the ice, these two, and they're stopping everything. I mean, they're studding out in goal. And it doesn't hurt when you got a team in front of you that scores 8 goals a game, 6 goals a game. I mean, they're just flying right now. Their nemesis in front of them right now is not Pittsburgh, it's the Islanders. Trotz has got them going on.
Well,
so
yeah,
that's going to be.
I'm going to reach to Barry and try to grab him at some point when they get a couple days down. I'll take a look at the schedule because it's been a little while.
I don't think they have a couple days down until after the season's over.
Yeah,
they're running fast. They're running fast and furious. The only teams that have some time down is is Vancouver. So Vancouver had 21 of their players on COVID protocol. They haven't played in like 2.5, 3 weeks.
I saw
something.
that. And like, I'm thinking through all these organizations and, every person that works there and it's just, it's a terrible circumstance we're going through right now.
Yeah.
All the more reason for me to get the vaccine this week.
There you go. But it's been a fun season because unbeknownst to anybody how it would turn out. And here, you kind of say, well, they did it right. They condensed the season. They're playing full games, but what they did was they regionalized the season. So the Caps are playing New York, Philly, Boston, all that, Pittsburgh, that tight-knit
familiarity breeds contempt.
Oh man, 8 games against each team this season, and it's like playoffs every night. These guys hate each other. I mean, they're not playing any other division, neither is any other. So you're seeing foes 8 times during the season in a 56-game run. It has been furious hockey. The hockey's been really, really good across the board. I mean, there's some bad teams, so they're not playing well, but they're still out there hustling every night because when you play a team 8 times, you don't want to lose 8 times. I mean, we beat New Jersey 8 times.
He is Raskin Global. I'm sorry about that. No, I love that we're talking some hockey because I haven't talked hockey literally with anybody. I haven't. I had Ted on maybe about 2. Well, we played Buffalo because he Habs, so I had him on for a minute or two, and we're into that time now where the buds are blooming and the baseball's playing and the golf is golfing and the sun's out a little later, and I think about my dear friend Phil Jackman, who's ailing right now, who was a father figure to me for many, many years in the late 80s when we would drive down to the Capitol Center and see Scott Stevens and Rod Langway and Dave Christian and just that era. Mike Ridley was my favorite player, all that, right? After the big Kelly Miller trade and all that stuff. So, I mean, I'm going back 3.5 decades now. And man, I think I've told you this, right? Like, I did business with the Capitals and with Monumental. Didn't really love what they did with the football team here. Didn't really love what they did with the basketball team here. Didn't really love that they judged Baltimore on paying top dollar for awful preseason games and nobody came. But I'll say this, they hired Trotz. I love Trotz. Trotz is family to me. It's been in my life for 3.5 decades. They win a cup, and then they fired him, and the whole way about how I was treated by Ted Leonsis and by his son, how I feel like I'm a vested 40-year fan. I flew to Toronto. I flew to Tampa. I flew to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. My wife and I flew to Pittsburgh and sat on the glass with Coach Tomlin, if you remember that game.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it might have been time to go. When it's time to leave a relationship, whatever that relationship is, and it's weird when it's sports, right? Like for you and I, it was the Colts. We left them, right? I left the Oilers, right? Like left them, and I'm still finding my Oilers stuff. I don't know how that works when LeBron plays for your team and then you go and hate him, or if we would ever hated Ray Lewis because he would have shown up as a Steeler. You have that mindset. Right. That's not my mindset to be an Islander fan because of Trotz. I did that with the Predators for years. I have no kinship with the Islanders, although I have some great friends in my life who have loved the Islanders forever. Like if I were to ever put a party together and invite my 10 Islander friends and have Trotz, it would be the greatest night ever, but it'd be better if they have the cup. So, I mean, I lived like this incredible experience, Leonard. And here's the weird part. My wife's been gone a couple of weeks. I went over to State Fair over in Catonsville, and I sat at the bar. And the server there, and I don't know his name, and I apologize because we don't get to know names. And now they have commercials telling you're not allowed to know somebody's name.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, he knew who I was because I had broadcast in there, whatever, and he had a Caps mask on, and we started talking hockey, and he's like, "You like hockey? Like you know a little bit about how like it was one of those little things." And I'm like, I mentioned Trotz. He's like, yeah, I think I knew you knew Trotz. So he's asking me for my pictures. So I'm going through my new phone technologically, and you can see it's got a pinky purple thing going on here that I can find it. My other phone was black, and I put it down. I can't find it. At least I can find my phone now, right? My wife hadn't seen it yet. She's been gone long enough. She hadn't seen it. So I get the phone out, and I start going out on the Facebook, and I start pulling up pictures, right? And I start pulling up the pictures. Were you in Facebook in my life, like when we were on the ice and the Stanley Cup happened?
Absolutely.
So the weird part was like I looked up all the pictures, but my wife put up 50 pictures that I swear to you, Leonard, I had never seen them.
There you go.
Like, she had a whole folder dedicated to the Caps winning the title, and I had never seen any of the pictures.
Awesome.
And I kind of like found them in the middle of State Fair, in the middle of like, and I think I just found a couple of them. I want to share them with you because I had never seen them. These aren't even the right ones. I'll find the right ones, but this was in Vegas.
Right.
There's Alan May, and there we are at the finals. There, look at how beautiful my wife is. There we are on the ice after we won the cup, right?
Yep.
We got pregnant wives. We got Niskin in here. There's Trotz on the ice after.
Absolutely.
The Cup Finals, Golden Knights. You see all the happy Caps fans here in the back. But so I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to find the thread. She hid pictures. She put a thread up that I had never seen, and it was her whole phone full of nothing but on ice pictures after the cup. And I know I'm not going to find them now,
right?
But like they were pictures that I'm like, I pinched my. Was I there? Was I? Right. I had John Allen on, my old long-time Dundalk buddy, who once toured with Motley Crue. And he had a moment on stage at Madison Square Garden where he's like,
"Is this for real?
Is this for real? Like I'm singing a chorus? Are you kidding me? So we had this moment on the ice. So you just saw like the B-roll. So I found those pictures, and I'm like, well, those are amazing. And then I kept looking. I'm like, I know there's one of Ovechkin and me and Tony Robbins on the ice with the cup. And it was on my wife's page. I'm going to find it and share it with you. But tell me why you love hockey. Like what?
Oh, it's a great question.
Because I have to think of, because my dad didn't love hockey, and I've done tombs and tombs of stuff on hockey, but I went to Clippers games in 1972, 3 and 4, and I fell in love with hockey. So why did you fall in love with hockey?
My father dealt with the equipment staff for the Clippers back in the late 60s. I was like 4 or 5 years old, man. That was it. I was skating, and I was. So
you remember the orange and black Clippers?
Oh, yeah.
See, I only had a year, 2 or 3. I mean, I had a very, very short stay with the orange and black Clipper. Everything that happened after that was sort of bastardized, right? Like it was the Minnesota North Stars, and I love all those guys. I mean, I can name Jerry Chacha and Barry Alter and like all the Kim Spencer. I remember all those guys.
I had a signed Sherwood goalie stick, and my
Love
life's
it.
dream was
Jim
to play
Weaver?
goalie.
Who
Yeah,
was
was
it?
to play goalie for the NHL, man. That's all I wanted to do when I was a kid. And then I grew up and couldn't skate as well, and didn't work out that way because short, fat little Jewish kids don't become hockey stars. Um, and then the goal
They
was
become money managers that do
right. Then
well
the
for
goal
hockey
was
stars.
the goal was to own a team. That was the next goal.
Oh, okay. Minor league team.
No. We want the NHL.
So when I was really doing well for
hang on,
myself
I gotta-
15 years ago, that's what people would ask me what I was going to do, like literally. And I wasn't deadpan, Leonard. Like this is
Yeah.
03, 4, 5, 6, 7, after I was syndicated, before there was like anything else going on in the world. I would say to people, I want to make enough money to own a minor league hockey team. I met my wife at a minor league hockey game, right?
Here you go. No,
I met my
didn't know
wife
that.
in Manchester at a hockey
That's
game.
funny. I had
Yeah,
no
Barry.
idea.
Bruce Boudreau was the coach
Yep.
of her hockey team, of the Manchester Monarchs.
There you go.
And she was a season ticket holder, had a front row seat on the glass. So my wife, like, hockey's a big deal to my wife. Here you go. So there's my wife and I at the party with the Stanley Cup. That's Fred Traub, who's like one of my all-time favorite. That's her and her sister. Hang on a second. That's us with the cup at the party.
Yep.
That's clearly, a little goalie action there.
Yeah.
So this is my wife. See, this is her phone. Okay. She took all of these pictures that I never saw, that I never touched, and I never checked in on or off on the internet, and I found them sitting at State Fair. These aren't the ones, by the way. I still haven't found the right ones. I'm going to find the right ones. Keep going. So your dad, so you went to a lot of games then as a kid.
Clippers games as a kid. Yeah.
So that was that your first sports hook, or was it the Orioles or the Bullets? What was it?
No. It was hockey. And then when I got out of college, so 1987, I graduate December 86 from University of Baltimore. I start in this career advising people on money. My first paycheck, the first thing I do with my first paycheck is I put a down payment on Caps season tickets for the 87-88 season. And I've
87, 88. I'm right where you are right now. You're talking Jensen, Peters.
Oh man!
They probably had just brought over Cicerelli, and they're about to get Cicerelli.
It was
okay.
Yeah, right before the limo.
I remember covering the limo. That was all part. See, your memory's good. Georgetown. I was in Georgetown the other day. I remember. Yes, I do.
Now the picture to get would have been swimming in the fountain with Ovi after the Cup win in DC when he was swimming in the fountain. That was just hysterical. Well, that was the best.
I swear on my life that he came over to the table I was sitting at that party, and in flip-flops, and literally grabbed the Stanley Cup from next to me and walked out the door with it. And 30 minutes later, he showed up on my Twitter thread with Tiesto, because when the Caps were struggling in that game, my wife and I were up on the roof at the game, right? When the Caps were struggling, I knew Tiesto was playing over at the MGM. And honest to God, true story, I was online in the arena on this laptop looking up tickets for Tiesto. So I knew Tiesto was playing. And I said to my wife, we're not leaving the Stanley Cup party for Tiesto. Tiesto who? Tiesto who? So we wound up not doing anything of the sort. But Ovi did. Ovi took the cup over there.
The dude took the cup everywhere.
So everything I just saw him in with the T-shirt and the flip-flops, he grabbed the cup from literally right next to me, walked out the door of the hotel ballroom at the Mandarin, and that was the end. And I stayed with Trotz till the end, and Trotz is like, we're going gambling, Bellagio. You want to play some blackjack? I said, dude, I think gambling with you tonight, man. I don't know how that's going to go.
Right.
It was like 5 a.m. My wife and I are doing the Walk of Fame down the strip. We were 2 hotels away, and my wife took her shoes off. She had heels on, took her shoes off, carrying her shoes through Vegas. It was like something right out of a Nicolas Cage film.
Classic. Absolutely.
I haven't been back to Vegas since. I haven't been to a hockey game since. So that's why I'm asking you for hockey updates, because I feel like once you've had whatever that miracle is, if there was a time for me to get off the boat, that was it. And I haven't looked back, but I must say I peek in, right? Like it's going to be playoff time. And if the Caps and the Islanders are getting together for 7 games next week, I can make some drinks and the game comes on and I pay for cable and I could be very excited
Absolutely.
about it. You're allowed to get
Absolutely.
back in, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course. They're looking good. They're like I said, they're playing great. It's a lot of fun. So it's a high brand of hockey right now. I think across the league. They should be pretty proud. And then I'm sure you saw within the last 30 days, they just signed a new long-term TV deal and they're jumping back on ESPN,
Well, the
which
ESPN thing was a mistake 25 years. I mean, remember when the finals weren't on back when Lemieux was in the Cup
yeah,
finals? And it's like,
yeah,
I have cable television and I have no access to Stanley Cup game final one. Like,
right.
you talk about trying to kill your sport. That's a way to kill your sport.
Exactly. But they're jumping back on ESPN, and I think that's a big get for the league long term. And now they've got, the college hockey's on. They got the women playing. They're spreading out. I think it's a good product, and it's only getting better. I think they're doing great stuff.
Well, the game is great. That's what
Yeah,
I would say to
I love
every
it.
person. Look, man, I am the original hockey pimp, Leonard. I mean,
And
come on now. I
you
mean,
got to go to a game. People that watch it on TV and don't like it, don't get it. You go to a game, you're hooked. That is an incredible and to think, watching Ovechkin, to be able to watch him every night that they play, if you choose to. I mean, this guy is the leading goal scorer of our era. He could end up being the number one goal scorer in history when he's done.
well, I saw that Gretzky stat the other day, so I'm not going to let you go there without talking about the Gretzky stat, right? Which is if he had every goal taken away, he'd still be the leading scorer all time.
Yeah,
I mean,
stunning.
that's an
Stunning.
insane thing to say,
The
right?
guy was otherworldly, and to be there in the 80s, as I said, and to be able to see him. The only negative about that was when he was in Edmonton. Man, we saw him like once every other year, live.
Well,
When he
and
went,
it was appointment. I went down there. I found my
absolutely,
old autographs from,
absolutely
back in the Capitol Center when I
had to
went
go,
down there and did all
had
that.
to go. Yeah, when he went to the Rangers and we got to see him a few times a year, it was just stunning to see. And to now be able to see Ovechkin play, man, it's the speed and the finesse and the skill. And unlike Gretzky, I mean, Ovechkin will throw you through the boards if you're standing there.
Well, that was sort of Lemieux's game. That was supposed to be Lindros's game, and then he got hurt, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
got some concussions.
look, man,
that guy.
I was at that game 7 at the Spectrum. I think, did I talk to you about that or somebody else? Recently
Nah.
on the radio, Scotty P and I went up that night when he got like completely annihilated,
Yeah,
coming across the middle. And
it was over.
yeah, and I think every sport waits for a transcendent player, right? And
Yeah,
in his case, he won a cup. I mean, for all of the vodka he drank and fun he had and whatever all that was before he won, right? That weighed very, very heavy on him. I mean, he carried a hell of a burden same way Peyton Manning when he didn't win, same way John Elway didn't win, right?
Yeah. I would have hoped he never won.
Well, Marino still carries it around that he didn't win, right? So I mean, there is.
But I would have rather it been Elway. Still don't like him.
Well, yeah,
Still don't like him.
I saw that stat about the quarterbacks too. Did you see that one? Only 2 number 1 drafted quarterbacks have ever won the Super Bowl with the team. And I'm thinking, oh, right, Elway, right, okay. Leonard Raskin is here. He manages money at Raskin Global and watches sports and talks sports with me. Give everybody a little primer on what's going on, because I know you wanted to talk about tax season, because this movement, I mean, usually it's April 15th, little different this year, and there's some ways to manage that, right?
May 17th. The tax year all of a sudden in the middle of tax season was moved back a month. So everybody got a month reprieve. The most important thing to know, if you haven't filed yet, you can do a deductible IRA, you can do a Roth IRA, you can still contribute for 2020, which is, again, a quirk in the law. You're allowed to file up until the day the taxes are filed, or April 15th, whichever is later. And now, whichever is earlier, sorry, date of taxes filed or April 15th, whichever is earlier. And now that we got this May 17th day, you can now fund an IRA or Roth IRA for 2020 up until you file your taxes, or May. So you got an extra month to fund that if you want to. And I think if you're looking at retirement planning and you're in a low tax bracket, you got to be thinking Roth IRA. If you're in a high tax bracket, maybe you're thinking deductible IRA. The idea is get those dollars funded, put that money away. Roth IRA, it goes in after tax, grows without tax, comes out tax-free. Government doesn't give you much benefit to grow money without tax and use it tax-free. The Roth IRA is a great, great opportunity. And now that they've extended it a month, you got till mid-May to do it. Make sure you talk to your CPA or whoever prepares your taxes and take a look and say, should I be funding this thing? Get money in there before the deadline. And with an extra month, gives people a little more time. If you got the stimulus checks, maybe you take some of that stimulus money and put it away for your future. Government gave it to you, might as well save it for tomorrow and get a little bit put aside. It's a great place to put it, and the extra month is nice.
Hey, man, spring is sprung. I hope you're getting out. I know you're getting shot up. I'm getting shot up. We're all getting out and trying to stimulate things. Watch a little baseball here and again, some hockey. It's good to talk some hockey with you.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say I miss hockey, like to some degree. It's a time issue, right? Like those nights that were 8-hour nights to go down to a hockey game. It's just I do other things, like come to your golf tournament. Give a plug. Tell me about Monday. I mean, I haven't checked the weather app yet. How are we doing on Monday?
I think we're sunny and 64. I think that's what we're looking. That would be magnificent.
Good with a windbreaker. I have good looking stuff at that weather.
That would be magnificent. We're sponsoring Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital golf tournament, first big charity outing of the year. Next Monday, noon. What is it called? Drive noon tee off. I think it is. You tee at 9 or tee at noon. And can't help a better organization than Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital. All the kids in the area that need great medical care that can't afford it. The number of people they treat and take care of there is just overwhelming. That talk about statistics. You look at that data, how many people they treat and take care of that can't afford it, that our dollars go to help and your dollars go to help. And so we ask people to sponsor. And if you want to find out more about it, you can check it out on our site. You can check it out on Mount Washington's site. Give some pennies to Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital. Again, use some stimulus for a good cause. Maybe give some money to a cause greater than yourself and help out some kids that otherwise wouldn't get great care. We're hoping to raise a ton of money out there.
Your lip balm kind of looks like a golf ball, a little bit like an egg. So, hey, man, I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and coming out. This is the first thing I've done, since the last thing we used to do. Yeah, I mean, this is the first thing where I have an event on my calendar. Because, I made a plan on Monday. It went up in my calendar. It's like, what could I possibly have going on? Oh, we have things. I actually put a couple of concerts in my calendar for the summer that I think.
That's scary, isn't it?
I might do. I'm thinking this might happen.
How about Ravens Raiders in Vegas?
I've been talking a lot about that this week. That we're going to get a schedule. That's going to feel real. We're going to have a draft in 2 weeks. That's definitely going to be real. I'm having football conversations. I had Mike Silver on from NFL Network this week. I had Adam Teicher on talking about the draft. Next week, I'm going to go through draft prospects and do a little bit more of that as we get closer to it. But it feels good. Lacrosse is lacrossing at this point.
That's one I don't follow a whole lot.
I don't either. Yeah.
I don't have any.
Here's where you get spanked by every lacrosse person, because we've just done a half an hour in hockey. Yep. Every lacrosse person would say to me, and this probably really started, Tony Seaman, longtime lacrosse coach locally, dear friend of mine. He would always say, you love hockey. You got everything you need. You love hockey. If you love hockey, you can love lacrosse. So
I love the NCAA Final Four.
I've been to three of them.
When the lacrosse gets to the Final Four, I watch the last 2 games.
I go and drink beer and look at the girls. I do what I've been doing my whole life in lacrosse. Leonard Raskin is here, Raskin Global. You can find him on the golf course, Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital on Monday. We'll be out there together, putting some pictures up on social media. He has promised me a shirt that fits, which I'm going to hold to that. And I promised you a drink and a bevy and a sandwich and something good, and it'll be good. I'll bring Purell. I'm good, man. I'm still not safe, but I won't touch you, but I'll talk at you.
We got dividers in the carts.
I'm walking, man. My back hurts for 100 days. It feels good to walk. I'm walking.
There you go.
I'll carry your clubs. There he goes. Leonard Raskin, Raskin Global, joining us here from Raskin Global, raskinglobal.com. You can find them out on the internet, handling money, managing money, giving solid foundational advice with some integrity on what to do with your money. And he's also on the front of BaltimorePositive.com with all these segments. Appreciate that. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, having intelligent conversations we now call wise conversations, along with our new partners at Wise Markets. We are BaltimorePositive.com.